First impressions count as you step into a hallway, but what exactly are the best colours to use in a hallway? And if you have a dark, narrow hallway, you may be wondering, how on earth can I make my hallway feel lighter, open and much more airy? And that is what we're going to be tackling in today's video. I'm going to be sharing some of the best colours from Dulux to paint in your hallway, and also what colour is the best paint for a hallway. Hi everyone, I'm Nicole from Sleek-chic Interiors. So what exactly is the best colour to paint a hallway? Now, if we think about small and narrow spaces, generally speaking, the darker the paint, the smaller your hallway is going to feel, and that applies to any single room that's small. So in a dark, narrow hallway, don't go for a dark colour, because you want something that's actually going to make the space feel open and much more airy than it already is. And whilst that is a general rule of thumb, there is some ways that you can incorporate dark colours if you still want to, and you could do that with a feature wall that's going to make the room pop, and it's also going to draw the eye down as you enter the hallway. So if you have a really long hallway that has a blank wall at the end, that could be a really good way to incorporate a darker colour. And if we talk about other colours that are best for a hallway, generally if you do want to create a light, open and airy space, generally off-whites and creams are one of the best colours. But I'm not talking about bright white. Now, bright white is only ever good for a hallway if you have a lot of bright light that is bouncing through the hallway throughout the day. Now, if you don't have that, it's going to actually make the space feel flat, personalityless and just plain boring. And another word on bright white, why it's literally the worst colour for a hallway, is if you have pets, if you have a busy household with children, or even if you're just moving things around, you're going to notice literally every scuff, dirt and mark that's on that wall. And let's not talk about when light shines through the hallway, because that is literally going to show every single mark that's ever been made on that bright white wall. So now I'm going to share some of the best Dulux colours for a hallway that are going to make your space feel light, open and more airy. Plus, Dulux paints are really affordable, they're great for busy households, and they have some really great paint colours. So hopefully you'll find one today that you'll really enjoy using in your space. Now, I'm going to start off with an off-white, which I absolutely love. I recommended this colour over on my north-facing video before, and that is almond white. Almond white has yellow undertones, so you're instantly going to get that creamy, warmy shade when you enter a hallway. You're not going to get the coldness that can come with a bright white. And if you do have a north-facing hallway, or one that gets very little light, that yellow undertone in almond white is going to make the space feel a little bit warmer and lighter without actually having that natural light flooding into the space. Now, another white shade with yellow undertones which I really like is ivory lace. Whilst ivory lace does have those yellow undertones, it almost has a bit of a gold sheen to it which can show up in certain lights, and this is why I always encourage people to buy a sample or a tester pot before committing to a colour, because it really can look different in different lights. Ivory lace is so much more forgiving than a traditional bright white. It's going to be easier to conceal marks, and it's just got so much more warmth and depth to it than a bright white does. Now, one of the most popular shades in the whole Dulux library has got to be Egyptian cotton. Now, this enduringly popular shade also has yellow undertones, and it's got a beautifully cream and neutral presence to it. It's so hugely popular because it works well with neutral colours, earthy tones and more bold statement shades like navy blue, and if you want to use a black accent in the space to define it, Egyptian cotton is available in almost every type of paint that they do. I personally really like it, and if you do like having a yellow undertone, it's a really good colour for a hallway as it's warm and it's going to create an inviting feel as you step through the door. Hallways can be as bold and statement making as you like, and you don't always have to follow the rules. Off-whites are great for dark, narrow hallways as they can make them feel lighter, airy and more open. But you can also go for some more relaxing shades that are going to still bring that warmth in, and it might even give a bit more of an inviting feel. Sage green is one of the most on-trend colours in interiors right now, and it's not surprising because it brings such a restorative and calming effect to an interior, and it pairs well with pretty much every colour as well. Now, one sage green colour that I really like is actually part of Dulux's Heritage collection, and it's called Dulux Heritage Sage Green. Now, this sage green is a mid-tone green with blue undertones, so it almost has a sage green olivey look to it. This neutral shade really is perfect for all rooms, but it's particularly good in a hallway because it's so inviting, it's so calming, and it's almost a great way to bring sort of the outside in with that natural feel. If you're not feeling brave enough to use it throughout a hallway, you could do some half wall paneling with a bright white above it, or you could even use a dado rail to separate that colour, or you could even go for a feature wall at the end of your hallway which is going to draw the eye in and it's going to give a really inviting pop of colour against a bright white. When we look for off-whites for north-facing rooms or very particularly dark spaces, always look for the ones with yellow undertones and pink undertones, and that is why I want to give you a lovely dusty pink shade, which is great for a hallway too. Dulux Blush Pink has red and orange undertones, which gives it such a warm colour. It's so nice for a hallway because it's inviting and it will pop against other colours as well. You could use sage green, black accents to define the space, wooden tones, and of course if you want to use an off-white or a bright white to give it a really crisp and pristine contrast. And I'm also going to mention a grey. Now, I personally find grey can be very cold in an interior, but it's all about what colours you pair it with, and grey still remains really versatile for an interior as it does go with a large range of colours. Now, one of my favourites from Dulux is Coastal Grey. Now, this isn't a colour that I'd recommend if you have a very small, narrow hallway, as it may come off too cold and uninviting in the space. However, if you are creating a coastal inspired interior, or you have a hallway that has a lot of natural light coming in, Coastal Grey can be really effective in creating a cool, tranquil and relaxing space. Now, Coastal Grey has grey and blue undertones, so if you look at it, it does look blue but also grey in certain lights. Now, I probably wouldn't use this across all your walls. I would probably use it as a feature wall, in a half wall paneling look, or with dado rail to separate it with two different colours. And don't forget to use a black accent in this space. Now, this is just one of my favourite ways to instantly elevate a room. A few well-placed black accents will tie the space together. It will make it feel intentional, but it's also going to add some definition and modernity to the hallway as well. And lastly, I wanted to give you one more green colour which I'm absolutely obsessed with from Dulux, and that is overtly olive. If you like something that crosses between a sage green and an olive, this is a really great alternative. I love its deep, rich tones. It gives a really sumptuous feel, but it's also really relaxing and inviting as you step into a hallway. What I love about this muted shade is it pairs so well with neutral colours. If you are a fan of beiges and browns, overtly olive is a nicer way to bring a little bit of warmth without solely relying on a beige in your interior. And not only does it go well with neutrals, but it goes with your earthy colours. You could introduce some other greens like forest green to give it a bit of layering and texture to the space, and also it does go with bold colours as well, so you might choose to introduce a navy blue, a black, or even a pop of mustard yellow. These Dulux colours are some of my favourites for small and large hallways that work really well in creating an inviting and warm space, and it does mean we don't have to rely on a bog standard bright white, whilst we can still incorporate some colour and personality into a hallway. Now, I hope you enjoyed watching this video today. I've also linked in the comments below my blog post all about Dulux hallway colours and my favourites. There's loads more on there for you to look at as well. If you have any other questions about choosing the best colours for your hallway, please leave those in the comments below and I'll come straight back to you. But I hope you enjoyed watching today's video, and I'll see you on my next one very soon.